Please excuse the mess. The SonarFeed appears to be having a few difficulties.
It's Monday. It's 7:30. And that means it's time for SonarFeed. This is SonarFeed 109 coming to you live from the Berliner Pub in beautiful downtown Renton. Three guys talking soccer. Tonight we have the S2 Trust.
Excellent. Okay, great. So here we are, episode number 109 of SonarFeed. My name is Erin Riley, a.k.a. Sonar Riley. The music? No, the music. All right. And can you turn the music down a little bit? The music down a little bit? Thank you. All right, sorry guys. This is live awesomeness. We just do it on the fly. Okay, so my name is Erin Riley, a.k.a. Sonar Riley. To my right.
Hugo Garcia, a.k.a. at Me Vida Seattle.
Across from us tonight, we're joined by three of the, correct me if I'm wrong, five. Well, okay,
sexiest, yes.
That's a good way to put it. Three of the five individuals who are working on SCT, as we're calling it.
Yep.
I've been calling it the Trust.
Yep.
Lee, who's not here today, has been calling it Trust Issues.
Yeah.
But the three of you are the three of the five. So starting over here on, I guess, my left, your right, we have Paul, a.k.a. Blue-Eyed Buddha.
That's right.
On Twitter. Angelica, a.k.a. Hello Girl 30, or 80, sorry, Hello Girl 80 on Twitter. And over here we have, are we allowed to say your real name?
Yes. Adrian already outed me, so it's fine.
So we have Kyle, a.k.a. Clavion123. If I pronounce that right.
Claven. Yeah, that's fine.
I probably spelled it wrong too then, so.
It's fun to watch people try to pronounce that, because I get all kinds of variations, so it's...
I would say Clivon.
Yeah.
Clivon.
Yeah. Clavon. Clavon's usually what I get.
Well.
Yeah.
I actually, I pronounced Andrew's name right, so that was half the battle. So, okay, so tonight what we're going to do is we're going to start out, do a little bit of recap of the last week, and then we're going to jump right in and spend the majority of the time listening to the three of you guys talk, because they're tired of hearing us talk.
Impossible.
I do want to say before we get too far into this that everybody should see Erin's mustache in person, because considering that it's only, the 17th,
I know.
It's actually it's far beyond what I can grow.
I feel emasculated by your mustache
I
right
get
now.
to stare at it for an hour.
Don't you know how I feel?
Yeah. Every time I look at you, I hear this bounce, music going in my head. I don't really know what that means, but
all right. So, thank you. So I have actually, on that note, I've raised $535 this month.
Wow, congratulations. Man,
thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not just for fun,
Wow.
I like growing the mustache, but it's actually for good cause, right? And my focus, it's for prostate cancer / men's health. But they've also added in mental health issues, which is a big issue for me. I want to see us focus more on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've been talking, Lee and Hugo and I, about next year as we look at how we invest and put our money into charities. We've talked about looking at mental health issues, especially for children or kids, teenagers, as our focus for next year. Kind of, an early announcement on that, but that's what we're going to focus. It's right on. To me, it's critical. It's absolutely critical,
especially in this day and age. Yeah, it's huge.
It is. Yeah. So, we spent when Robin Williams passed away or killed himself, we spent a long time that night on the show talking about it because it was an important issue for us.
Yeah.
So.
I agree.
All right, so let's move on here. Let's talk about one more housekeeping note before we talk about you guys. So for those of you that know, we've done a SonarFeed FIFA tournament. This is our third annual FIFA tournament coming up.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
We do it right down here at the Berliner Pub. It is usually in December. And I say usually because there's a change coming. It's a good change, but
it's a great change.
The first year we had about 15 or 20 people played, maybe. Wow. We raised $700. Of that, 100% of the money that was donated to us, we covered all the cost of the running the swiper machines and the TV, all that stuff. $700 of it went to the Boys and Girls Club.
Right on.
Nice.
And we had this guy that we invited on Twitter to come down and join us, named Lamar Nagel. And he had just been traded to Montreal. And he came down here and spent like 6 to 8 hours with us.
Guy's a legend,
right? So then we said, hey, come back next year. And he did. And he won this last year. So the second day he won. And he's actually really good.
And improves.
Like in both.
Just untouchable eventually.
It's pretty funny watching him play as himself, though.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. So
wow, being able to do that. Imagine being able to say, playing as myself.
I know.
Wow.
Does he play as himself?
Yeah.
Does he really?
Yeah. He played the Sounders, right?
Oh, he has to.
It was awesome. It was great. So the last year we raised $2,200. Of that, 100% of the proceeds, we covered all the square feet charge, all this stuff. $2,200 went to the Lamar Nagel Foundation.
Oh, that's great.
So we planned on and had announced that we were going to do this on the 21st of December. Unfortunately, there's some life events happening in Lamar's life. I don't know if I can say what they are, but I'm just going to leave it at that prohibits him from attending. But he said to us, I really, really want to be there for your event, which is like pretty cool.
Wow. Mind blowing, dude.
Yeah.
That's right.
So January 4th. It's a little bit later.
That's not that mind blowing.
That's
You're awesome.
great.
It's
a dream come true.
Why do you think we're
video
here?
games.
Why do you think we're here?
So January 4th, 11 o'clock in the morning. It's a Sunday.
Paul's putting it on his calendar right now.
I saw that. Thank you. We're going to have the tournament. I'll put on more announcements. We'll have the website up. We'll have the Facebook up. We'll have all that stuff. A lot of people already said they were going to come on that date, on the 21st. I'm sorry. But Lamar said he is going to help promote it on Lamar Nagel Foundation. He is going to be here. He wants to be here.
Wow.
And so for me, it's worth it. So it was a
That's
tough
really
choice.
worth
But
it.
yeah. So, okay.
Wow.
So there's the housekeeping. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you
absolutely.
for having us.
We know you guys had some commutes.
We're having fun.
Oh, no, my pleasure.
I mean, we've
Thank you for having us.
I mean, we have a Portland night. We have up north end.
Yep.
We have a new baby.
right.
Well,
Gig
a year
Harbor.
old.
Yeah.
But Gig Harbor.
Yeah.
You guys all, it's huge. Absolutely huge. So you
Yeah.
guys are tired of hearing me talk. Let's do this. Hugo, do you want to say anything before we start?
No, you nailed it. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. It's fun.
Thanks for having us.
We love doing this for fun, but we also like to share our passion, the same passion that you guys have.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
know that you guys care about the community, soccer, and the Sounders. So it's neat to be able to share with others that might not, and slowly but surely spread the word about everything that's going on. So it's cool.
Yep.
Right. So actually, I have one more note. The LA away. I'm terrible. This is the last one, though.
It's an important one, though.
The LA away
Kind of
is
important.
a week from yesterday.
Right?
Yes.
So we're 6 days away.
Yes.
We are driving down, and I'm happy to announce that we are bringing gifts for the SoCal Sound tailgate.
Right on.
Nice.
We last week we were introduced to Sparkle Donkey, and my drink of choice tonight
We met him over tacos.
is
Wow.
Sparkle Donkey and Galazzo.
Oh, look at that glass.
And Sparkle Donkey and Galazzo have both agreed to give us some care kits to bring down to the folks at the SoCal Sound.
500 at 500 now.
Over 500.
Over 500.
That'll get things started right.
We will have
Wow.
Hot Donkey, we will have Silver, and the Reposado, all three tequilas available for the tailgate.
Yeah,
so that'll
what's
help the SoCal Sound not spend as much, and hopefully give some more money back into their group,
Yep.
Yeah,
which
it's
will
a
raise
great
some money
group.
for them.
Yep.
And then we're going to bring Galazzo, so you can have a nice Galazzo mixer with that. So, anyways, just wanted to tell you that.
Nice job, Sparkle Donkey and Galazzo.
Yeah,
Way to
thank
step
you.
up for the community, right?
It really is. It
right.
really is. I mean, we're transporting it, and so
Yeah,
of course,
yeah,
I mean, I might nip a little bit on a little bit
Those
of it.
guys down there have been for a long time now, welcoming everybody to 3 or 4 games a year and throwing these tailgates and doing a great job. So
Exactly.
it's cool that the people from Seattle are showing a little love back.
Right, and then the people who down there who heard us talk about Galazzo and or Sparkle Donkey maybe never have had an opportunity to try it. Now they can decide whether they like it or not in person.
Their
So
eyes
it's
will
pretty
be
cool.
opened.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm done.
Nice.
I'm going home. It
For
was
real,
good seeing you
that's
guys.
Long intro. Sorry, everybody.
So all right, SCT, the trust. You know, how do you want to proceed? Let's start with where'd the name come from? How did you guys come up with the name?
The name came from locking some people in a room and arguing about what the name should be for probably far too long, and we probably overthink
Long
it
time.
quite a bit. But I would say that the main impetus behind the name is that we wanted to make it obvious to everybody what we were about. And a lot of people know what a supporters trust is, but if you're really into soccer and you're really into fan ownership, you know what a supporters trust is. But then there's a lot of people that's a new concept. Right. And so if we called it something supporters trust, they might think, oh, well, it's just for ECS, or oh, it's just for Eastside, or it's just for Gorilla, or whatever.
Right.
And it's not. It's for everybody, right? It's community trust. And that's basically how we settled on Sounders Community Trust. We ran through some hoops to be sure that we could use the name Sounders without stepping on any toes. I mean, if you look at everything Sounders, there's an MLS, trademark logo, and Adidas, and da 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 da. But we got all the permission. Adrian actually made some calls for us here and there on it.
Nice.
So that's how we came about Sounders Community Trust.
Yeah, that name, Sounders Community. I mean, we're really talking about with our association at S2 about people that would go to the games and that are part of the Sounders community here in the Puget Sound area, but it encompasses so much more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about anybody that's a Sounder, and this is, for me in particular, living down in Portland, and I head the group, the fan group down there. There are a lot of Sounders that are outside of just this area that want to be a part of what we're doing and that believe in what we're doing. And, a big shout out to all of them because, to be a Sounder faithful in enemy territory or SoCal Sound, Heartland Horde, those guys, it's a test of an allegiance, but these are people that really believe in what the club is doing, the democracy in sports. So the name really encompasses that too. It's bigger than just this area, than just Seattle, Puget Sound area. It's the Sounders community, and that could be anywhere in the world.
Well, I think that's a great way to put it too, because I think that's one of the things that we're lucky here, that we're all close enough that we can go to the games. You're 3 hours away for every single game.
Yeah.
In fact, you drove up tonight to be on the show, and then you're driving home afterwards, and you do that for every game. You come up from Gig Harbor. Okay, it's not terrible, but it's a haul.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're right. The folks that are not here get to be involved in it, and that is so cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Anybody anywhere can be involved in it.
Yeah, the word community really encompasses more than just your geographic location. It's also a community of people. So it works both ways.
Yep.
You'll hear us talking about that a lot tonight, probably. The community piece of it is really at the crux of what we're trying to do. So.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And I think it's really cool too because it opens it up to a fan, not so much a supporter, but fans. Like myself, I was a fan before I got more involved in, and I love the Sounders. I went season ticket holder since 2009, but I'm always trying to find ways to help out more, be more involved, follow the team more, and this is a very unique experience. This is something that is very unique in the U.S. and soccer history, in our club's history. So. I think it's something that will attract a lot of new fans that are, on the fence about how much more time they want to invest and be more involved with the club. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
Okay, good. So on that, now getting off of that, or not off that note, but let's talk a little bit about each of you and how you became to be involved in this, because I think that's a critical part here too. When we look at this and say, okay, and we'll come back to some of the questions. Lee is over here texting me, very anxious to ask some hard questions.
Yeah, sure.
Especially for you,
For
Angelica.
yes.
No, but I'm joking about that. But I am curious to find out a little bit about each of you, and I want to start with you, Angelica, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you, why you're involved in this, etc. Like what it means to you.
Yes.
And then again, we'll come back to some of the details of everything, but I know a lot of it will come out when you guys talk anyway. So go ahead.
How I got here, or also how I got involved in the trust?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was originally actually a Gorilla FC member, so I got into supporter group culture that way, and then evolved to become a member of Bada Fuerza Verde and Emerald City supporters. So I actually feel a close bond with a lot of the supporter groups and a lot of the missions that each stand for. As far as getting involved in the trust, I got involved in Alliance Council through membership in Bada. And then conversations evolved in Alliance Council about the trust, which I think we'll talk about again tonight. And this guy here to my right, El Presidente, I got more involved in conversations with him and also with Andrew, who we'll talk about as well, about what S2 was about what we were thinking about in community ownership. And how could you not buy in that idea, Lee? That's a shout out to Lee right there. How could you not invest in that? I'm deeply rooted in community empowerment, in involvement in all different forms of participation, and so this is a way that I think every single person can have a role to play and can really take a part at any level. So I really believe deeply in what SCT stands for. So I really wanted to be involved, and luckily these guys needed a little feminine touch.
That's right.
No, that's good. So what is your role, before we move on to the other two, what is your specific role in the board and in the trust, et cetera, right now? Sorry, I'll keep calling it the trust until you correct me. In SCT, sorry.
Yeah.
No, the trust is fine.
Yep.
Okay, it is. Okay.
Either way.
Okay.
So I will be serving as a board member. I will also be serving as secretary, will be my elected role on the board. And then from as far as a skill set that I may be bringing is kind of that community outreach piece, also a communications piece. Those are a couple of the areas that I think I'll really serve the board.
Okay. All right, so let's go, Kyle. You next.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your passion, your background. I know we heard some of it previously. You know, if those of us that, like, I watched from my hotel room when you guys all sat up there. You know, I had a conference call and I ran back to my room to check in so that I could be ready to listen to you guys. But anyway, so tell us a little bit about you and then what your role is in the whole
Sure. Well, I have a lot of international travel experience. I go out and I lived in Argentina for about 3 years in total. Just seeing what the fan experience was down there. It wasn't really a fan experience. It was these people's lives and how they're a part of their club. And so I kind of grew into that. And, I just got used to soccer being a certain way. You know, the matches were just really intense. My team down there, they had just got into the first league from the second league, and it was crazy. And so I saw what that kind of culture is like, and it's like that because people grow up with their clubs and their athletic clubs that they go to in their daily lives, right? So anyway, I had all this experience seeing that, and then I got here, and I was already into soccer before I moved there. Going to USL games and growing up as a kid with the Sounders, it was a big part of my childhood. But seeing what it could be was really sort of drove me, I guess. Anyway, I did move down to Portland for a job. So I live down in Portland now. I'm not from there. I'm from here. That's a very important distinction to make.
Can you repeat that again, please, sir?
I am not from Portland. I live there.
He gives them hell down there. I love it. I love it.
Well, and you talked a little bit about the Anchors and Roses guys, right? And you've down there. You talked a little bit about your role in that. You're the president right now.
Yes, I had the group. Yeah, and basically it started because me and another person named Susie, we kind of got sick of just sitting around watching streams on our computer. There was really nowhere for us to go to watch games, and I didn't know Susie, but I just kind of got bored of what that was, and it was just hard with the Duck fans and the Timbers fans. And so we really wanted a place of our own. I started scouring the internet for others that were in Portland, other Sounders that were in Portland. I met Susie that way, and we started the group. And it's been a year and a half now, and we've got a pretty core group that goes and watches all the games. We do TIFO parties. So for PDX away, not only do we throw a pregame in a bar, and it's our place. We have this big march to the match that we do. We do it through Portland, which if you haven't done that, I don't know if you guys actually did that, but
no, I've done the bus. I haven't done it. Next year, though, I told you next year.
Yes,
we're gonna do it down there.
That march is insane. I mean, it's and so we'd made a bunch of TIFO for that, and we were parading through downtown Portland and going to the games, and we've grown kind of this really.
That's gonna be epic.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I mean, we're doing it next year. We're doing it next year.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't wait. Yeah.
So this last one, we had hundreds of people marching together. I mean, it was beautiful. Yeah. It was a beautiful thing.
I can't wait.
That's gonna be badass.
All right. So what's your role in the trust?
Yeah.
What's your position?
So I live down there, but I come up here for the Alliance Council meetings.
Yep.
And the reason I did that was because I had an experience. We talked about this kind of before the show, but I had an experience. I went to UW. I was student body president of UW Tacoma, so I really cared about the student body. And I went to a game, years after my last game in senior year, and I just saw sort of the experience there where they had moved the student section to the end zone.
Oh yeah.
They do the cross stadium chants that I knew when I was in school there, and that gets all confused now because they're in the end zone section, and you have this loudspeaker on that's showing commercials when they have TV timeouts, and tickets are outrageously expensive now, and that really changed things for me. So it kind of flipped. I wanted to see what I saw in Argentina here, and I got really involved in supporter culture and joined the Alliance Council, but I didn't get really any votes from the ECS. I did get 2 or 3, but mostly it was just friends I had out, in the rest of the stadium. That I told them what I was doing, what I believed in, and they elected me. And this season, started pushing for fan ownership. I mean, that was the reason I was there. Yep. And the Alliance Council, people really knock it sometimes because it seems like a marketing tool. It has a voting stake in that you can vote out the GM. Other than that, it has no teeth in a way of speaking. That's not really true. It gives us a dialogue with the front office, and if a fan is sort of motivated enough, you get elected. You go try to push what you believe is right.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's
you get a chance to get your voice heard. Whether you think it's being heard all the way down to Joe Roth on a regular basis or not, regardless of the team front office reps, they're listening to you, man. And at times, it's more the people that work behind the scenes that make the decisions that influence, because the owners, they can't be there all the time. So they rely on who they hire at that front office. So being able to talk to Bart and to the ticket reps, security people, it's pretty unique, man. So that's pretty cool still.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. The Sounders are unique because they have that in place. Yep. They really wanted fan involvement. And it's hard to do in America this day and age in professional leagues.
Completely.
I mean, it's hard to get the interest of the fans to line up with what the front office wants, because they're trying to make a ton of money.
Right. It's a business.
It makes sense.
Know that.
So the only way that those two things, in my mind, align is if the fans actually own part of the club.
Yeah.
And I believe that, and that's why I ran for the Alliance Council. I got in there and started pushing for it, and that's why I'm involved now.
Okay,
awesome.
Great. All right, so this is probably the longest he's ever been in front of a camera and a microphone and not talked. Paul.
Did somebody make a note?
I work in front of a microphone. I sit there and talk all day long.
So now, Paul, why don't you tell us a little bit about, obviously the same questions.
I got involved with the Alliance Council as an ECS member, and this was very early, back in 2009. Some people in ECS said, Paul, you really can't drum very well, so you shouldn't be a drummer. And they had plenty of capos at the time. I helped out with some travel, monkey stuff. I was one of the first lieutenants when Arthur Kim was the first head travel monkey.
Okay.
For those that don't know, a little ECS history, and not just ECS, because ECS welcomes everybody to travel to away games, but Arthur's the guy that really got that going. And then he handed off to Erin, and Erin handed off to Heather, and so forth. So anyways, on the Alliance Council, what I got involved with, and my passion originally was that we wanted to stand up for all the supporters and the fans, and we love the democracy in sports idea, and we love the idea of the Barcelona model, if you will, of fan governance of the club. And personally, what I saw was a real opportunity for the fans being really, really involved would help add a lot of value to the club, okay? So the idea being that our club, obviously it's probably the most valuable club in MLS, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, even though it's not in the huge media market of New York, it's not in the huge media market of LA, but we outdraw both of those guys by twice as much.
Yeah. You're looking at 20,000 extra people.
Because
that's a lot.
the fans are so passionate. I know, it's crazy. It's insane how many people.
It's almost double right now.
Yes.
And it will be next year over double.
Yep. So where my passion came from was we want to demonstrate to, first of all, to our owners that Drew's trust in fan governance was well placed. Yes. This is going to work, right? And then second, we want to demonstrate to our owners and to all the MLS owners, and then eventually to all the sports owners in North America, look, this is a better model than what kind of crap you guys pull with you move a team here, you move a team there. The Seahawks packed all their crap up, moved to Southern California, managed to get them back. Sonics moved all their crap, packed all their crap up, moved to Oklahoma, still down there. And that type of treatment of the people that feel the most passionately about the sport is a ridiculous way to treat the fans, right?
It really is.
It really
is.
is.
A slap in the face.
It's horrible,
It really is.
and fans shouldn't stand for it.
Yeah.
And if we reverse that, and we reverse that model, and we say, look, this is what happens if you actually engage the fans on a really deep level, a deeper level than normal sports teams do, and don't just treat them as customers, but treat them as part of your business and give them an ownership sense, then your club's going to be worth a lot more. You're going to draw more fans when you have a crappy year, because every sports team sooner or later, and knock on wood, it's not going to be for a long time with the Sounders.
Please, baby
but
Jesus.
sooner or later, that's right. People have a bad year, but the fans keep turning out if they truly believe in their heart and they're that engaged. And so that's why I got involved with the council. And then, like Kyle said, the community trust, when this opportunity opened up, because we've been beating on Adrian and Joe, and a couple of times we've asked them, hey, is there any chance we could own part of the team someday? Well, yeah, we'd be open to that. But the reality is MLS's ownership structure is too screwy. So we couldn't do it. We couldn't own part of it while it's in MLS, while it's in single entity. And probably more importantly, until we prove that this works on a smaller scale.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So the community trust opportunity opens up when they have a second team, and Adrian's in there and he's talking about the second team, and I said, hey, how about if you sell us part of that? Because that's going to be a separate legal entity that runs this, right? And he said, you know what? That's not a bad idea. And that's how it all started. That's how the community trust started. That's how the idea of fan ownership of S2 started.
And was that at an Alliance Council meeting?
That was at an Alliance Council meeting, exactly.
It was pretty impressive, actually.
You were there.
I was there,
Yeah.
right? So, I'm on the Alliance Council, which scares a lot of people, obviously. I'm not shy, right? But I will say that this was a very eye-opening year for me, having been on the Alliance Council, because I didn't know what to expect going in, right?
Right.
I think you guys saw I'm actually not as bad as my Twitter persona sometimes leads it to be. But I am still Bulldog.
Pretty darn close, though.
I'll tell you, there might have been a few people in the club who expressed some concern when you got elected to Alliance Council.
I'm sure there were. I'm not surprised at all.
But everybody's been delighted, because just so everybody out there knows, Aaron's really good on the Alliance Council, and you should support him when he runs again.
And honestly,
I try to be.
If you kept that mustache all year long, everybody would love you.
There's a reason why I still keep hanging out with the guy.
I might consider that. So, but no. It was eye-opening for me to hear that. I'm trying to hijack your...
No, it's all right.
But it is...
I'm done.
No, there's one... what's your role? That's before I go on. What's your
my role on
the
the community trust is I'm the president is an office that they have you put on the state paperwork. I prefer chairman of the board, but so far I can't get anybody to call me the chairman yet. So I don't know. That doesn't seem to be working out.
It's not spreading. It's not picking up.
I don't know how to make that. I'm too old to make things go viral. That's crazy kid talk.
We can work on that.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. I've got the Twitter man right over here.
Yes.
So yeah.
All right. Okay. So, but to finish my comment, I think there is something that for me, being on the Alliance Council for the last year, and being in those meetings, it was very intriguing to me to hear the commentary, to watch Paul. We all know Paul. Paul. Yeah. I think, and I'm saying this, Paul, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but a lot of people like you. A lot of people have respect for you because you are a true, genuine, honest person who does a lot of good work for the community. Very much it's not about me, it's about everybody else, and you drive to a specific goal, and that affected me as a member of the Alliance Council in ways that I didn't necessarily expect to be affected by it. So
I appreciate that.
And I don't know if I've actually told you that or not.
No, I don't know, but I appreciate that.
And then when this all came about, and this is why I told Kyle before the show, when you guys announced everything, right? It was all kind of hurried, and I want to ask that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I was kind of like, here, throw my money at you, take my money, right? Here's my wallet. The credit cards don't really work. I have to pay my bills, but just go ahead. Whatever one works. But it was that's how I felt about it. And part of that was because I was afforded the opportunity to be on the Alliance Council and see some of the discussions that went on. Yeah. And that light bulb that went on Adrian's head, again, in that meeting, and then Andrew coming and talking to us, it was great. Now, again, I respect it's closed doors, Alliance Council, quiet conversations. So these guys, Hugo and Lee, who know about everything about me more than you ever want to know about, knew only about that much that I could talk about that I knew was public knowledge.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was like, when I started hearing rumors of what's going on, not getting anything from you was like, what? I don't know if these rumors are true, what I'm hearing out here, because he's on the Alliance Council. Erin would surely tell us.
I'll tell you what, it was a little bit
Man.
tough, and that kind of leads into what's next on our list of things that we had for topics.
Yep.
But it was tough because we wanted to find a way to make this real. Okay, this needed to be a real deal.
Yeah.
These guys will testify. We went around, and so what basically wound up happening is as a leader of the council, and they asked me to come in, and so I met with Andrew Apokowitz, who's the general manager of S2. He's probably out there tonight. Hey, Drew, what's up?
What up, dude?
and Maya Mendoza, who is the club's in-house lawyer.
Who's also the daughter of
Fred Mendoza.
Fred Mendoza.
Who
We would love to have the
basically-
Mendozas
Oh yeah,
in
we
here.
actually
Yes.
need to have them on.
Yeah, we
sometime.
do.
Yeah,
That's
they would
actually
actually be a
Yeah.
terrific guest
Yeah.
because Fred will. You could do 2 shows with Fred
Oh,
talking
man.
about how the stadium
On.
got built. Because for those people that don't
I
know
would
at
love
home,
that. Oh my
Can
God,
you
I
give
would
us?
love that.
Can you hook us up?
Fred Mendoza basically was one
Yes.
of the main leaders that delivered the soccer vote that got the stadium built.
Right.
So, I mean, when you talk about soccer in Seattle, the guy's been there forever, and his daughter is
Yeah.
the same way. She's
And,
awesome.
I mean, the Seahawks wouldn't be here
Right,
Without the Sounders.
without the Sounders.
Well, without
Absolutely.
the
Without the
team,
stadium.
it became the Sounders. Yeah.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. So when we were in those meetings trying to figure out how we were going to make this legal and make it a real thing, because one of the things that I told them, and I stood pretty firmly on, was we don't want it to be in name only. I know there's
Right.
some confusion about whether or not it is in name only,
Yep.
but it's not. This is a real 20% stake in the club. Now, we couldn't make it where everybody's going to buy shares because that gets you very, very rapidly into governmental reporting and forms.
Overhead
and
costs.
it pretty rapidly eats up all your money, and then you don't have anything. And you have to keep doing it every year in, year out. We looked at, there's a special kind of corporation in Washington State. It's only been around for 2 years, but it allows a corporation to take its profits and essentially, instead of giving them all to the shareholders, because that's, according to law, that's what corporations have to do, is deliver returns to their shareholders. This type of corporation would exist for a social purpose, and it could take that money and put that money into a social purpose or a charity.
Social benefit corporation.
Social benefit,
exactly.
yeah, and it's treated as a for-profit company in taxation purposes.
Right.
And that might have been a way, but it just didn't work out. And what we hit upon was the idea of a nonprofit. Everybody becomes a member of the nonprofit. One of the advantages is then we don't have a limited number of shares, so nobody gets left out.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
Anybody that wants can join. There's no limit to it. And then that money from the nonprofit.
Anybody that wants can join. There's no
Anybody.
limit.
Lee.
Right.
Anybody in the Philippines can join.
And more importantly, that money, the other main thing that we want, well, there's a couple of main pillars, but one of the other main pillars was that the money couldn't go to just cover their operating losses, because they're going to lose money. I've seen the budget.
Right.
They're going to lose some money.
Oh, yeah.
It's minor league soccer. It's already tough enough to make money in MLS. Most teams don't.
Yeah.
Sounders don't. They barely break even because they signed a couple of guys named Dempsey and Martins that,
Yeah.
make more
Take
than
a
most
large-
MLS teams.
large chunk. Thank you, by the way. We appreciate
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
They-
Adrian doing us a
Yes.
solid there.
They're
yeah.
actually, I mean, they're creating this club knowing that they're going to lose money. It's not really to make money. It's
For many years.
development.
Many
Yes.
years.
Yes.
There's no immediate future
Right.
of gaining
No.
money here.
And
That's
so
not
when
the
people,
point of it. It's
that
the
actually brings up a good
development.
point. When people ask, well, how am I going to get a return on my $250 if I join the Founders Club? Look, you don't want to try to get a return on it because that means you're also going to be liable for losses. And that means we're going to have to come back to you.
And
If we
ask
set
for
it
more
up that
money.
way, we'd probably come back to you next year and say, all right, you got to pony up another 150 bones.
$250
It's, yeah, you get a money call every year,
Yeah.
right?
If
Yeah,
we don't
want that.
don't pay in, it dilutes our shares.
Right.
So instead of having 20%, we have 10% because they got
Exactly.
somebody else to
Now,
pay for the cost.
Maybe this might be. Can we, let's say, 3 years from now, things are progressing positively, and maybe we can change it to something that is more, I guess, not necessarily that we get a return, but I guess that you can get. I don't know how to say it, but maybe we can change it to some of the other plans that didn't work out right now, like the whole reporting. Maybe we can change it to something else down the line. Maybe 3 years is too soon, but 10 years down the line.
The possibility for that's in the future.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
The real question would be if the owners are willing to keep selling us more and more of the club,
Right, right.
if we can come up with money. But, the other part of it is since it's a member organization, we would have to all vote for it too.
Yep.
And maybe not everybody would go for that. But that's the kind of decision that's a pretty big deal decision that the members of the nonprofit would be of the trust would be able to take on.
One point to make there, we're not, the money that we're raising isn't buying shares of the club. So it's not like we're trying to raise a certain amount so that we have 20%.
Right.
The club is giving us 20%. They're donating it to us. We're raising money for Starfire, which is a nonprofit. So it's separate. These things are separate. So,
which leads to the question here. I want to just ask it because I think to me is this investment real?
Yes.
What does it get me on the other side of it, right? Because I think that's what, and I'm asking this partly for Lee, who's not here, because I think one of his concerns is some of the way it was phrased and some of the way it was communicated made it seem like we are making an investment.
Yes.
That, like, I'm giving you my $250 and I'm expecting that to have a return on it.
Yeah, so it came across as a stock investment. Like,
right.
I'm not saying that's what it was intended to be, but that's some of the viewers or the people who watched that who were not in the know. I knew
Totally get that.
And I wasn't one of them. Not me.
Yeah, we've been walking.
I was at the event with you. I remember.
We have to walk a little bit of a legal tightrope because we can't. We want to. The idea is it's a sense. You get the sense of investing and owning part of your club because you're a part of an organization that does own the club. You're joining an organization as a member that owns part of the club. Is it a direct investment for you? No. Because why would you invest in a minor league soccer team that we are telling you is going to lose money?
Right.
Right. So from that point of view, is it an investment? It's not an investment like you would go buy shares of Microsoft or even putting, money on black on the roulette wheel. It's not even that much of an investment because you got a chance of getting some money back on that. It's you're joining a member organization, but you're joining a member organization that owns part of the club, right? And the reason that it's worded the way we do, which is it's a what they call liquidation interest, and we're going to a meeting with the lawyers here, and we're going to find out probably more than we ever wanted to know. But we lucked into one of the top law firms in the world. It's one of the 100 biggest law firms in the world.
What's it called? What is it?
Gale Gates.
Okay.
The Gates part is, you probably have heard of the dude Gates that owns
Bill Gates
Microsoft.
Sr.
It's his dad.
Who?
Yeah. So, and there are lawyers, and they provided the service for free because I went in and we talked with one of their lawyers about what was going on, and he was so excited by the concept, he said, I'm going to try to see if we can get you pro bono legal services. And he did it.
That's badass.
So so when it comes to our lawyers, we couldn't get better lawyers than Seattle.
Exactly.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So they said it's a liquidation interest. So basically, the club is holding 20% that belongs to the member organization, to the nonprofit. If anything bad ever happens, like they fold up the team or they sell it off to somebody else, then we would get paid the 20% of that. And in the meanwhile, they're giving us a stake as though we are a 20% investor.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's going to be 5 members of the executive committee that run S2. The fans, through this member organization, get to elect one of those. 1 out of 5 spots, 20%.
Nice.
See?
And that's separate of the USL Pro governors.
Well, that person will probably wind up also being the USL Board of Governors representative.
And now I've heard rumors that Lee was going to be that person you're going to put up for that.
Well, I don't know.
I thought he got the
Well,
head
has he
coaching gig.
bought into the-
Ezra got the coaching gig.
What was
I
that?
thought he was picking up a contract. Wasn't Lee picking up a player
that's
contract?
right. Yeah.
What's that?
Right.
Yeah, when Andrew was here, we talked about that's right.
Lee's gonna be an assistant coaching gig.
He can't wear all these hats.
Yeah.
Because they rolled out Ezra
There's
instead of
not
Lee,
enough.
right?
That's right.
The other piece Paul didn't mention is about the investment is real in the community. This is an actual nonprofit organization that has a mission, that's going to have values, it's going to have vision, and the whole purpose of that nonprofit is to promote the development of soccer by strengthening community access and influence in the sport. So there is a real investment as far as when you're putting your money back in, you're not just contributing to these capital projects at Starfire, there's also a long-term goal of increasing access to soccer in the community. So there's going to be so much more than just these initial projects.
So can I ask 2 questions there, or kind of like partly a part of it's from Lee. Lee's behind on the feed because he's leeching internet from his neighbor in Philippines. So he's texting me as well. So I'm trying to get some of his, because I want some of his feedback is interesting here. Because if you saw the thing, he said boo about the investment in Starfire.
Sure.
But I want to come back to that.
Yeah.
My first comment is that's part of the reason why I threw my money at this, is because it is not I'm giving the trust $250 and expecting to turn that into thousands of dollars into my own money.
Right.
That thousands of dollars that could be my money down the road, assuming that we sell 8 or 10 Yedlin-esque type players and we do things and we build this organization up the way the Sounders have built themselves up, is that we will be profitable down the road, I hope. I mean, I know it's not short term, but if they do it right, they could be.
Sure.
They're going to throw that money back to the community, to us, the trust members.
Right.
Yes.
And the trust members then get to vote and decide on where that money goes back into the community, back to what your point was, which that I think is absolutely critical piece.
Yes.
That's what I'm going into this for.
Yes.
Yep.
I am doing a donation of $250 that's going to go to a capital improvement at Starfire initially, but also is going to allow us potentially to direct money back to the community. And that is huge.
That's the long term.
Huge.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we talked about when we talked about these different models of ownership was, well, if you get a real equity stake and you are exposed to the losses, in addition to being exposed to the potential profits, say the Sounders sell a Yedlin for $5 million, right? And out of his 5 years that he developed in the Sounders system, they decide that a year and a half was at S2, and that's roughly worth 20-25% of his overall development. So they say, okay, we're going to book $1 million in revenue over to S2, right? Because they can do that. They can say, well, this team, provided some of his development, so they get paid.
They invested in his
Right.
development.
Well, maybe S2 would make some money in that case. All right, but we didn't know for sure that was going to happen. And until it does, while we're losing money, we would have to keep putting money in to keep our 20% stake at 20%. And we just decided, you know what, we're better off going with a lower risk way, which is this liquidation thing. And yeah, it does mean we don't, we're not going to all retire on Shauna Coley getting sold to Bayern Munich or something 3 or 4 years down the road. I know, it's crazy. But,
Darn it.
But the flip side to it is, and that's the other part of it, is we didn't want to lose any money. What, is it something made that?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Continue on, please.
The flip side to it is,
We have a fan. Angelica has a fan. Halo Girl is hot and smart.
Yes. I like. You can tell where that guy's priorities are.
Thanks, Dad. That's my dad out there.
She is blushing, by
Thank
the way.
you, Dad.
I've never seen her blush
Very
this
red.
much.
I don't know if it comes across the internet.
I was like deep in Paul's point here, and then
Oh my God, that's awesome.
That is so
that's,
awesome.
I
Look at her
look,
blush.
my dad is like,
Sorry, I know this is scintillating internet,
but
TV, and radio.
that's sweet. That's really sweet. Thank you.
The show, unfortunately.
This is the show.
We were
This
more
is the show.
serious.
We haven't even really started
there.
drinking yet. So. No, but seriously, the other part of it is since we didn't want to be exposed to those operating losses, we said we want to make it a capital investment to something that even if the team flops and if it folds a year and a half down the road or two, because we all know MLS is a little bit crazy, right? I mean, look at what Chivas. Imagine if you were a Chivas fan
Oh my
right
God.
now, right? You'd be just heartbroken.
Yeah.
Well, we're protected from that because our money is going to be at Starfire and it's going to go into a building that's there, whether the Sounders are playing there or not, whether the S2 is playing there or not. And it's going to benefit everybody that plays at Starfire. And I don't know how many people have made it down to Starfire. That place is packed all the time with
It's
community
one of the
soccer.
greatest soccer viewing experiences
Ever.
you could ever have.
Other than
Yeah.
LA away.
Well played.
You're
Well
welcome.
played. Well played.
all right, because I'm trying to get him to come with us. He doesn't drive with us,
Right.
so,
Absolutely.
okay.
He already
I wanna-
had
We
a
already
big
drove.
LA
We did
away
drove.
with me.
2 years ago, we
so-
drove
It's
22
all
hours.
about the company you drive with.
Hello.
We have-
I drove with her.
We may have 12 bottles of Sparkle Donkey with us, though.
Oh, that I cannot compete
22
with.
hours in the car with Erin or 22 hours in the car with Smart and Hot.
I would go with Smart and Hot too. But yeah. All right, so I want to bring up on the Starfire comment because I think you're right. I love Starfire. I am once removed. I go there for the Academy games. I've gone there for reserve games. I've gone there for the Sounders Open Cup games.
My
And
first US
now-
Open Cup game was at Starfire.
Was it really? Okay.
It was against Chivas like 2 years ago.
Yep.
And that was when they allowed flares, actually.
I think though that
Yeah. It was
we all know
Yeah,
Lee,
I mean-
Lee hates the trust, right? No, I'm kidding. He doesn't hate the trust. He has trust issues.
He does
Yeah.
have trust
But I
issues.
think one of his big issues, and I'm going to paraphrase here a little bit from a tweet that a text that he sent me.
Here's Lee.
And I'm just going to say it. Starfire is a place that is run half of Kim Kardashian's assets that she showed the other day, that does not even own the land they're on. They don't use their sponsorship or their scholarship money correctly. There's a lot of issues because he's been there, his family's been involved, his wife's been involved.
Okay.
So he's seen some of the dirty laundry, I think.
Sure.
And I'm paraphrasing, and Lee, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm saying it fair enough here, that his fear is there's some issues there with that foundation we're building there that causes some concern of they don't own the land, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Are we giving our money to them, basically?
Right.
So kind of like I said, are we helping them out?
So I guess, go ahead. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it or.
So they're a partnership with the city of Tukwila, and so they don't own the land, but it's the city of Tukwila. I mean, what we're developing is land that's used by that area and that area's community, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so organizational issues. I don't know what his experiences are with their organization, but it is a nonprofit, and I say that is our home, and that's the Sounders' home right now. And you don't run away from those problems. You fix them, right? You take them head on, and having more influence over what happens there is a good thing, not a bad thing.
So can I make a comment here? Because he also says here, why have the Sounders not made an investment previously? Why is this the catalyst to make that investment? Maybe.
That's actually a pretty good misconception because the Sounders have put a lot of money into that place. Adrian's one of those kind of people that donates money, and he doesn't want his name on there, right? Okay. So when you go to things and you see the names of all the donors, and then you see the big gifts, and those are the people whose names are in big print, and there'll be one that says anonymous. Adrian's the type of guy that does it anonymous.
Okay.
But the Sounders actually, as a club, have put some significant money into Starfire. It's just that it's all behind the scenes and people don't see it because it's for offices and locker rooms and additional training complexes and so forth. It's just that they're outgrowing it. And the reality of this building, what we're putting in as the trust is probably strictly on money terms, we're getting an excellent deal. Okay, because we're not really putting in 20% of the proposed budget. Is at least one of the building proposals that I saw. I mean, we're talking millions of dollars for this improvements they're going to put in, but we're only putting up we're shooting for $250,000. Right, is our baseline what we really want to get to. So I get where he's coming from, and anybody that's played in the adult leagues or done business with Starfire knows they can be a little frustrating sometimes. So I get where Lee's coming from on that, because I've had some of those same frustrations. But the reality is this is a thing that the Sounders are doing at Starfire that's going to benefit everybody that plays at Starfire, and also the Sounders. It's going to make Starfire their home for a long time. Time.
So, and I don't want to. I mean, Lee's not here to talk about it. So, I told you guys all this before that he apologized because he's over there for work.
I really wish Lee was here. I really do.
If this works out well and you guys are comfortable with this, I would like to do this again in January, February.
Sure, absolutely.
We want to talk to you.
I want Lee
Lee
to be here, and I want this to be. And also, I think in general. Oh, is this him? Is this him calling us?
Possibly.
He's FaceTiming us actually.
Oh, great.
Right on.
Oh no.
Oh wait, hold on. No. Okay, while he's doing that, but I think that this is a good first step, but cause I wanted to keep the momentum going because right now we're at the point now where people have to make a choice.
Yes.
At some point.
Yes.
And I think we can continue this discussion here, but so I didn't want to wait for Lee to get back, and we talked about it offline a lot.
That's great.
Yes.
Non-stop.
And
Good.
with you guys too, and so it's one of those things where but I don't want to go too far into this without him being able to talk some specifics.
And then,
I just want to make sure we hit
really
that.
important question: how are we doing on drinks, guys?
I think we're good.
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 Glass of wine.
One more. Okay.
Yeah.
And cerveza.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good for right now.
All right.
Okay. So
one thing that I noticed, watching Andrew and Lee talk about it, is, it kind of killed me not to be here. I think we all wanted to be here and talk to Lee about it. We've been talking too, but the fact that you guys are talking about it a lot offline, and the fact that Lee, he was skeptical, that's different from apathetic, right?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
He was just questioning. He likes. I saw interest in what we were doing, and I think a lot of people have interest in what's happening. It's just they want to know about it, and be And so the skepticism, I think, is actually a good thing because that's what fashions us to be better, right? And
I 100% agree. We talked about this a little bit before the show, too, as we get warmed up, because I think there is. All right, so here's Lee.
Hey, bud.
What's up, buddy?
So
That's awesome.
Sorry, should I be looking at this?
yeah, that's fine. No, go ahead. Hey, look at that one. Look at that. He's got his bar.
He's got his bar scarf on from the Philippines.
So, hey, Lee.
Yes, we can hear you.
Will the beer be cold?
Will the beer be
cold?
It's going to be a different contract than
That's actually
It's not really up there as part of our goals
That is
for
a
the
critical
trust,
question.
but
Actually, that is something that Andrew Opakowitz will tell you. He immediately heard from a lot of fans as part of the experience of going to a soccer game, standing there holding a beer while you sing, right?
Yeah.
And they have made it a priority. And that's the kind of thing where Starfire, in return for the Sounders and this improvement that's being made to their facilities, they said, all right, so they're working on getting a liquor license, let them sell through the whole stadium, so you can grab a beer, go back to wherever you're standing or sitting and enjoy a beer.
Yeah, that's great. So I just want to say we'll have a future roundtable. From our side, it's always, the door's always open.
Yeah,
I hope
absolutely.
from you guys it is as well.
Yeah.
Because I think, to me it's important that we do this now. He'll be back. We'll get it going. He's on board. He's the teddy bear. He's really not that scary.
No, nobody's afraid of Lee.
Actually,
The guy has passion for the Sounders, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Lee's a fan just like me, just like Paul, just like Angelica. I mean, I relate to him and what he's thinking.
Yeah.
And I think that he is representative of everybody out there.
I think
that's a
so
good thing.
a lot of us, like Aaron, we love the Kool-Aid. We sip the Kool-Aid. We're like, yeah, take my money as soon as we hear the basics of it.
Yeah.
And he does too, but he's like, hey, I don't want my friends to get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
I don't want, and that includes a lot of fans. We don't want an average
Absolutely.
fan to, put in $250
Right.
because they love the Kool-Aid, whatever it is. And then, boom, a year later, it's done. So and a lot of people feel that way, like you said. So to be able to ask friends.
And some of the hard questions and some of the things that we probably didn't do a good enough job laying out ahead of time. But it's partly because this happened fast.
Yeah.
That meeting, I think, when Adrian came in and talked was in the middle
really
of the season.
fast.
Yeah.
And within a couple of months, all of a sudden, we're having these meetings and they're like, okay, we have to decide what kind of legal structure we want. We have to decide what day we're going to roll this out. Are you free on this day? Can we do a press conference? How are we going to sell this? Can you guys get a lawyer? Can we do this? Can we do that? And there was a lot of details. And the reality is, we all work full time in addition to being crazy Sounders fans, So it's a lot of stuff up in the air, and I apologize. I wish I had no job in a way, then I could work on this all the time. But I also have a house and a baby and a wife I got to pay for. So
No, totally understand.
Yeah. I mean, I think as this gets out more, and we've been seeing it because we have a booth, at every game, and we're out there trying to talk to as many people about it as we can. Especially all the people that come up to us directly just with questions. And, Lee's sort of representative of that, right? But what we were noticing is that people are sort of, like, the interest at first was, it was there, but they didn't know anything about it. So it was sort of like, well, we're on the fence, but, I can't really do this right now. And it's, a decent sum of money. And now as the game's kind of progressed and we were sitting there and talking to these people, as the information kind of got out, I've noticed that people are sort of latching onto it now, and they're actually buying in. And
dude, it is like
it's getting out.
Such important part of sports history, Seattle sports history.
Everybody
Washington
agrees
State,
with it, right?
Soccer history.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Like this is something that.
It's just about reaching those people.
To me, just to be a part of it alone, even if I lose the money a year later, say, I was part of the first ever attempt.
Yeah.
I was part of it. I put in money because I love the concept of being able to own. Look at all the Green Bay Packer owners from that bought in their own.
Although interestingly enough, when we looked at the Green Bay Packers and what they do, when you buy in, every time they've offered those shares, and they've done like 6 or 7 sales, I think, over the years, usually 15, 20 years between.
For capital
those people
campaigns,
are non-equity.
Nice.
They don't
It's just a
actually hold a share of the club. And granted, I don't have a share that I can turn around and sell somebody. But I am a member of an organization that holds real equity, holds a real liquidation interest in this. So compared to
why
what the
this is
Packers are
unique.
doing, yeah.
All right, so I want to. Okay, and Doug. Okay.
Well, and just one other thing, $250 is not a small investment for
No,
some
absolutely
people.
not.
So, in fact, skepticism and questions like this help us improve as a board. These are the questions that people have. These are the concerns that people have.
Yeah.
So, in fact, just the alternative with Lee, the more questions he has or the more skepticism he has, the more we can improve, the more we can get messaging out there to help people understand what this is all about.
So he just put here in the comments here, he goes, thank you guys for your time. He really wants us to work. So again, this is back to, I think some of it is
find
the,
the time.
it will work. I think it will work. It's just a matter of, and who knows, the first year it may work kind of, and then we find out we really screwed this up or we did okay
Sure,
here,
there are gonna
or
be
we
bumps.
did this, but who cares?
Right.
Then year 2, year 3,
Yeah.
look at the Sounders.
Right.
Well,
We almost fired Siggy because some guy tweeted fire Siggy. But they almost listened to me.
Where
That was
is
like
that guy?
that was like at the 25th minute.
No, it was like 10th minute. Wow. Shalry Joseph. Do I have to bring that up again?
Oh, the emotion.
But again,
Wow.
it's okay.
Well, here's the other part of it is we're not pros. We're gonna mess up. We're probably gonna slip up here or there. But if we have good motives at heart and we keep our focused on the goal, that's the important thing. And like Angelica mentioned earlier, one of the things that actually you have to do as a nonprofit in Washington State is the money that we're putting into for the asset that we're holding in the club. That's one thing. But down the road, the nonprofit has to actually operate as a nonprofit as well.
Right.
So that's where the community aspect comes in, and we're planning on. Well, to be honest, some of the things that we are planning on we don't know what they are. They're just kind of penciled in. It's like, well, somebody will come up with something. Because so far we've got several hundred members. It's over 700. It's pushing 800. I don't remember what the latest number is.
Andrew said when he was on here, it was like 700 members.
Yeah.
Roughly.
So out of those people, we have some very, very talented people. We got people who can put on a podcast with friggin' wires and cameras and stuff like that everywhere, right? There's
Which we're
lots
interested in
of
helping
talent.
out.
We actually have, I think, the first person that bought the first membership, at least at the ECS announcement.
Yeah.
That was French.
It's Grandma down here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Grandma. She people weren't.
I wanna
talking,
hug you
people were
right
still
now.
Talking, and she like a
Snuck
ninja.
her way up in there.
She's,
Oh, yeah.
you know, she
Yeah,
went
yeah.
up there.
She's
Some
got-
people have skills.
Yeah,
That's all
she's a
there is to it.
ninja. I love it. She got there and was one of the first people.
But
Boom.
We're
I'm
planning
in.
on community events. How do we draw in the community? You know, how do we get
I have
people
an idea.
involved?
Do you guys have anything you could donate to a FIFA tournament? If you had a little bit of a booth maybe at a FIFA tournament, say January 4th.
January 4th.
I don't know what you're doing.
It's something you can
doing
think
that
about,
day?
but you might have something you can donate maybe, I'm sure,
Like a Sounders 2 scarf.
or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know what you guys were going to do that day, but I was thinking I would play
Bring
video
in
games.
Coach Ezra. Bring in
That was
Coach
on the
Ezra.
plan.
I mean,
But okay, so now let's take a break here for a moment. Let's see, is there anybody out there who wants to ask a question? Because I've got questions on here as well that I want to ask. So if you guys have questions, come on up. We're going to ask.
Looks like
I know
someone
Eileen
did.
wants to ask, but I'm going to do this first, Paul. We'll do this first here.
All right.
So Jesse, Emerald 13, has a question, and let me pull it up real quick.
Okay.
His question is, do we have a process yet for electing the trust member to serve on the USL Bro?
Yes, we do for that.
USL
Pro Board of Governors.
You just coined that, by the way.
Because I want that job. Jesse
No,
says.
unfortunately, Adrian misspoke the other day, and that's not going to be a thing for the whole trust to elect directly at first.
Oh, okay.
It'll be elected out of the board of directors or board of trustees. We haven't decided on a name yet for the trust itself.
Okay, so how many? Okay, so backing up from that question,
Okay.
how many people are? I know right now there's 5, right? It's Sean Wheeler, Stephanie Steiner, who's not here. Happy birthday, Stephanie, by the way.
Yeah, happy
I know you're not
birthday.
watching, but you will watch later. I know you will.
she watched earlier, I think.
Yeah.
I saw
No,
a
I-
comment.
yeah, but she's out doing
If
comedy.
we do
clubs.
karaoke, can we start with happy birthday for her?
Oh, that we should
There
do that.
you
Yeah,
go.
we should.
Yeah.
And then the 3 of you.
Right.
Yeah.
I already forgot
Correct.
your names, so I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah.
But the 5 of you are right now the 5 members of the board.
That's
Yeah.
How
right.
many members of the board are there going to be when it's all said and done? Do we know yet?
Yeah. We haven't. Well, we haven't formally decided because you don't necessarily have to choose a number from the front.
Okay.
But we are thinking a 7 to 9 person board
Okay.
is the idea.
Okay. So between 2 and 4 more people will join the 5 of you that are the initial board members.
And will they have to
That's
be
correct.
members, like paid in, bought members?
Oh, you're going to have to be a member of the
Yes.
trust to be on the board.
Yeah.
Lee, give the money
Hurry up,
now.
dude. Hurry up, dude. You can
All right.
PayPal from
So,
Manila.
do we know though the process?
No. No, don't take those PayPals from overseas.
But so we don't know the process yet. Is what the answer is, correct?
For joining the board.
Yeah, to be on the board.
To be the person who's going to be the USL Pro.
No, yeah, you have to be on the board of directors. So somebody that's really interested in that would want to, work hard, get on the board of directors, and eventually every board of directors spot is going to be
And when
elected.
you're saying board of
So why am I
directors,
not
it's
on
the board of directors of the trust.
Yes, of the
That's
trust.
correct.
Yes. Or
And
board
then-
of trustees. We don't know.
I want
To
to
be
run
honest,
too. I want to run too.
we haven't found out from the lawyers if we're allowed to call them the board of trustees yet or not.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And
so
we did have a question, I think.
do you have a question, Eileen? Come on up.
Come on up.
If you mind just grabbing this mic right
Yep.
here, if you don't mind.
And if you could tell us your Twitter handle too.
No, my question is for those of us who just put down deposits for season tickets.
Yes.
Do we know when we're going to be charged the rest? Because my bank account would like to know.
It's a good question.
That's a great question, actually.
Great question.
Do you know the answer to that?
And we may not know with this
We-
group the answer to that
Right.
Well,
question.
actually, that's a Sounders
Let's be
thing.
clear that we are not
Yeah,
employed
we're-
by the Sounders. We
No,
don't
right.
work for the Sounders.
Yeah.
So-
I don't have access to anybody's credit cards, although Lee. No, I'm just kidding.
I was hoping Andrew would be on the chat.
But leave, you want to share it.
Yeah, the answer is you need to talk to
Holy
Sam Mitchell.
shit.
He's a kid that
I'm
got
sorry,
hired
hold
by
on.
the Sounders.
Can you hold on 1 second? Time out. Sorry. Can
Hold that
you
thought,
remember
hold that
this
thought.
answer?
Okay.
So, there's a guy named Lee Rayall
Oh no.
that is now an official Founders Club member.
Yeah.
That's all we wanted. We can go now. We can leave. We can leave.
It happened.
We're done. We're
I'm
done
not going to
here.
show it online because it
Can I
has
drop
stuff
the
on
mic?
it, but-
Can I drop the
Let's get a
mic?
screenshot of his confirmation.
Well, we're figuring with the widespread media power that
What
Lee
the
has,
GM
that's
couldn't do,
going
you
to get
guys
like
did.
200 people to join right now, right? Like that.
So
No,
he does.
seriously.
All joking aside, he is interested in leadership, and I,
Sure.
Yes.
and I'll be honest with you. I mean, I love the Alliance Council, and
Yeah.
I'm not. My time is weird right now, but I think there is some interest in that from
Oh, yeah,
from
totally.
any
Oh,
one
yeah,
of us.
absolutely.
I think you're gonna see.
Absolutely.
I think you guys are gonna see like a flood of people wanting to be
Yeah,
involved.
yeah.
Well, we're going to do a big call for volunteers here shortly,
Good.
and I mean we've got so many positions to fill. I mean it's not just the board, but it's committee work and just different tasks. We need talented people for, and it's all coming. I mean this is still in its early stages. And
Yep. But let's answer Eileen really quick. Sam Mitchell is the guy who's working for the Sounders for S2. He's the main ticket account rep, if you will, for S2. Nice guy. He used to work at MLS has a national sales center where they kind of loan the staff that works there to different clubs when they're doing sales initiatives, which I never had heard of, but it's pretty cool. And he will be in contact with you, and I'm sure you can work it out with him, and he'll.
I'm looking for his Twitter handle. Oh, it's-
Sam Mitchell, SSFC.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Twitter.
It's tough because I just got the notice that my playoff ticket hit and my season ticket hit and so I'm with you that maybe if we can wait till January. Right?
So I want to just repeat that. So if you have questions at any time,
Yep.
2:00 in the morning, tweet Sam Mitchell at Sam Mitchell SSFC.
Tweet.
He's a great guy.
Email, tweet.
Yeah, his notifications might be off at 2:00 in the morning, but I'm not
All
sure.
right. So
about
what
that.
is it again? At
Sam
Mitchell.
With 2 L's.
He actually just followed me on
SSFC.
Twitter. I keep warning these guys, these people, don't follow me on Twitter.
No,
I'm much better in
I
person.
know.
No, they already know.
No, they want to get input from
No,
the
they do.
fans.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
no, I
and he's a
appreciate
great guy. He's really
All right,
good.
so I also have a question here. I have a couple questions from Leo Henton, not Hinton, on Twitter, who asked, Starfire construction is completed in year 2016, 15, etc. So, and then he's also asked about, and you guys may not know this question. They're going to stream the internet and the internet S2 games. Do we know if it's going to be cloud storage for post watching or whatever? Again, we may not know that answer. And then finally, he wants to know about family-friendly seating for SC2. Is there going to be that? So if you guys can answer any of those, great. Or if not, we can punt and we can do a follow-up. And maybe next time Andrew can join us as well, and we can do like a real, true roundtable as well.
That'd be
Sure.
awesome.
2016, I believe, is what
That's
we're
the
shooting
goal.
for.
I think it's a very aggressive, optimistic
aggressive.
goal.
Yeah.
But they
That's what we're shooting
they're
for.
looking at having some pretty firm plans, architectural drawings and whatnot by early January.
Yeah.
Like a month
It's
and a half.
happening
January?
fast. It's
Yeah.
happening really
Yeah.
fast.
Oh yeah, they're not
Wow.
screwing around. This is the real deal.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Can we say that Sean's going to be the horse guy that's doing that, or he didn't want that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So a question about family-friendly seating.
Family, yes.
Yes.
We don't know.
Yes,
I
it
would
will.
assume,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I would say that.
I'd
So
say
I
yes.
bought into the Founders Member Club, and I also took advantage of the $95 season tickets.
Sure.
So I have 2 tickets in that section.
Screaming
I have
deal.
no idea what that means. I paid, so I'm done. I paid all
Yes,
my money
yes.
in theory, but I have no idea what it really means. Do I want to be in ECS? My daughter's going to kill me that we're not in ECS, so can I move them over there or whatever? I haven't reached out to Sam.
Yeah.
I have not reached out to him yet. So could
Okay.
I potentially do that? I assume I potentially
Yes.
could.
Yes.
Yeah,
But-
no, I
but-
mean, I take that to mean you can bring your family in, and you're not in a supporter section. There is going to be that.
Well, everybody has a little different definition of what family friendly
I
means.
agree.
Yeah.
It's
So,
an important
so I'll tell
distinction.
you what, staying away from that because I don't know. I don't think any of us knows
True,
what the
we
Sounders
don't.
are planning.
Right.
I know that Andrew has been working a lot with Ian Winkleman, who's the Sounders ticketing head. He's the director of ticket
Yep.
sales, director of ticketing. Let's just say. Ian, I apologize if I'm getting your title wrong, but the way it's going to work is for the reserve seating that people are buying for season tickets and through the Founders Club. Founders Club gets first dibs because that's part of the whole thing. If you're a founder, you got first dibs on everything.
Right.
And so those seats will be right at midfield and spread out this way. The ECS section originally is going to be down in the far end where they're at right now. So you have to choose. If you bought in for the $95 tickets, you can be in for $95 and be down with ECS, or you can have reserved seats, and they are going to be reserved in that central section. They'll also have an add-on, which is they're going to put in seat backs. So in that central section, they'll have a little bit more comfortable than just the basic bench seat with no back, which is kind of cool. If you want to be in that, then it's going to be an add-on, but it's pretty cheap. I think it was penciling in at $15 or $20.
It was TBD.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I'm giving that away. But
Yeah, TBD.
I don't. The point of it is they're not trying to make a bunch of money on it. They're just trying to be sure they cover their costs
Right.
Yeah.
on that and provide that for people. So, do you want to be in a family-friendly section? Well, what does family-friendly mean to you? Does that mean you're far enough away from ECS you can't hear them say songs and stuff? Well, I don't know if there's anywhere in Starfire where you can get far enough
Yeah.
away from ECS for that.
But maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
but
they,
maybe like an alcohol-free section or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what
not
I was
sure.
thinking.
And that's
I'm
not
sure.
something we can answer here.
Yeah,
but-
Starfire's a more laid-back atmosphere
It is.
for the
Right.
rest of the fans anyway. It's more intense because you're on top of the field. But,
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So let's. I've asked for more questions here, but let's continue down our thing. So as a father, as a guy who has a limited budget of some sort, I put $250 down on my trust membership because those jerks at ECS. I love you guys, but I didn't know about this special thing, and I was on the road, so I didn't know about my cheap $125. Which thank you for absorbing that fund.
Subsidizing
I mean, how amazing is
Yeah,
that?
that's huge.
And I didn't really understand that fully until even Andrew was here.
Like for me, I'm super tight on cash, so
Yeah.
$250. I was like, man, I really want to do it, but that's a lot of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
I go, I do a lot of Seahawks. I go to a lot of Sounder matches.
Yeah.
$250, man, that's a lot of money.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as soon as I heard what ECS did with
They
the
put
100,
it
I
up.
was like, oh my god,
They put it up for the members.
Thank you, baby.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you,
it's
ECS. Let's
fantastic.
go.
So, but I spent $250. I know a lot of our people watching have kids.
Yeah.
And because we've been walking out with the players lately, and we have this great group of us that we do Twitter's crowdsourcing to get the players to walk out with them, right? It's an awesome thing.
Sure.
But some of them bought two memberships, one for them and one for their kid.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't choose to do that at this point.
You didn't?
No,
You
I
bought
bought
two?
No, I bought 2 tickets.
Oh,
Yeah.
But I bought
You
one
get-
founding membership.
You
Right.
can get up to
So,
4 on
Yeah.
one Founders
Correct.
Club
right. And I
membership.
have 2 kids and my wife, so
Yeah.
the 4 of us can technically go. So
Yep.
that's great.
Right.
Yep.
Perfect. But at the same point, I got 2 kids. So how do I tell my daughter or my son, oh, I'm sorry, but I'm giving the founding membership to my son, and not my daughter.
Right. Hunger
et
Games.
cetera.
You're gonna have to Hunger Games it.
Right, it is. Oh, no, that's actually fantastic because I can get rid of one of them and then be better. No, I'm kidding. 'Cause that's how I'm funding my trip to LA. No. Okay, but my question here is, and not just for me,
Yeah.
but what is the family plan? Is there a family plan idea? If I buy it in my name, can I, and I die, which I almost did last year.
Yes.
Lee, that's for you. Can I pass that on in my will?
3 times.
Can I?
3 times.
Etc. Do we know anything about that, or what? is that too early to ask that kind of question?
No, that isn't. Legacy benefit is one of the benefits of trust membership, where they intend for that trust membership to go on to whoever your
beneficiary is.
This is more of it to talk about, but whoever your surviving family member is that you'd like to pass it down to.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes. The legacy benefit is one of the perks the perks of Founders Club
However,
membership.
it is one person, one vote, one membership. So
that's fine.
One membership
Right.
can buy up to 4 tickets.
Yep.
That's the family-friendly part of it. Because we kicked around a couple of different ideas. We kicked around
That's amazing, by the
selling-
way. Even though you're only paying one membership, you're still getting
Up to
4
4.
tickets at that discounted
$95
price.
a
Like,
whack.
are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah. $95 for a whole
For the
season.
first season.
Yeah.
Plus, that's a season. It's like a season subscription. So if they make the Open Cup games and S2's
Playoffs.
playing
All
those
in there.
Cup games, it's thrown in. They make the playoffs, it's thrown in.
Yeah.
They're not going to come back and hit you for more money. It's just the $95. After the first 3 seasons, they're guaranteeing the Founders Club will always have the deepest discount. Okay, on season tickets in the future, even beyond those first few years. So it's a huge benefit that the Sounders have put together. But we said, okay, well, maybe we do a thing where you can buy the first 2 memberships, and then if you want to get more, say have 3 or more members of your family, then you can just buy a family plan, and that would be 2.5 times the base price, and this and that. And it got too complicated too quick, because one of the core principles is one person, one vote.
Yeah.
Right.
So we figure it's easier if we just maintain one person, one vote, one membership. It's all under the one thing. But we did want to be able to provide that. Here's the family heirloom. Here it is. You probably got it framed at museum quality framing, and you have your share certificate, and you pass it on to your child, and they pass it on to their child, and so forth.
Okay, so here's another question for me. Can I, because I screwed up on this one. This is my fault. So you know the banner that we have, the scarf we have outside of Clink? Mm-hmm. It says Erin Riley, not the Riley. Because I could have put the Riley family, which I found out later.
Sure.
Is my share in Erin Riley's name, or can I put it in the Riley family name?
Right now, it's one name, one vote.
And
So
it
it's
is
yours.
does
it's
have
your
to
actual
go
name.
to a name.
It's
your
your legal
actual
name.
name.
And the reason
Right.
being is for that voting purpose, to make
Right.
sure that there's one person with one contact information that's tied to one vote.
So can I get my $250? No, I'm kidding.
I'm sure as far as for recognition purposes, when we talk about maybe plaques on the building or as far as how your name could be mentioned, that could be in your
different.
family
Okay.
name.
Yeah.
Because that would be more important to me.
Right. So for the
Oh, yeah.
purposes of voting,
No,
though,
that's-
we need to have one name in there. But
And when do I have to decide on that name? Because I know I put the money in. Is it too late? Am I already decided? Or can I change it?
You can
I
always
don't
change
know,
it
but I
because
would
you can
say-
transfer it.
Say again?
You can transfer that. That's part of the legacy
Okay.
benefit.
So
right?
I can say to my wife, okay, happy birthday. I want to give it to you instead. Something like that. So it wouldn't be in my name.
Right.
Okay. Fair enough.
Nice.
Good. And that's just funny because I want to, if everything was perfect, I'd have $1,000
Sure.
laying around and I could have
Sure.
4 memberships, right?
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
fantastic. But
But
I don't.
you're probably not the only person who has that question.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. There's probably
it's
a lot of
great that
people
you're
with
bringing it up.
Actually, I was in the office the other day and talking to Andrew about, okay, we have to start thinking about what we're going to do for the share certificates. We're going to design them. The one they gave to Zach Scott, I thought was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So, but they are working on that, and part of that'll be, an ordering procedure, and then if you do want a framed version, we are actually seriously reaching out to, our owner's framing shop, because for those that don't know, Adrian Hanauer owns a small chain of framing stores, and maybe we'll be able to package a really good deal on getting it framed, so that it'll get delivered. And we'll see about what we can put on there. Probably not a family name, but maybe a family name just on the share certificate, even though the membership is tied.
Right.
We can ask them. We'll ask for you.
Yeah,
How's
it's kind of
that?
like what they're doing with the tickets that you could
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so we're about 17 minutes away from an hour and a half.
Okay.
Believe it or not, we're already an
Wow,
hour.
really?
So I got a couple more questions I want to ask. Also, anybody else in the audience and/or online that want to ask a question, ask now.
Holler.
So, so we have 2 questions that we have to ask. We're going to break away from serious for a minute.
Okay.
We've been asking these questions. I told my wife this the other day. She's like, "You're really going to ask them these questions?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Of course.
So we started the show, and our first guest. Thank you. The owner is leaving.
Oh,
Dennis,
bye,
thank you.
Dennis.
Lydia, thank you.
Bye, Dennis.
Thank you, guys. They let us come in as the guys who came back from Kazar. We set up in the corner over there by the logo and just started doing our show.
Nice.
And they're like, "Yeah, go ahead and do whatever you want." They're fantastic here. They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're brilliant.
super supportive of everything we're doing, especially
Everything,
with soccer.
yeah.
And also, The home pub of La Barra.
Yes.
Yeah, let's
You
go.
know, anybody that has never been to the Berliner should get down here, because this is a really
it's a great
cool
bar.
joint. This is
Yeah.
the kind of place that you don't see in new developments and strip malls and
No.
stuff.
Yeah.
And when you get everybody in here for the games, whether it's the
Oh, I
World
bet
Cup
it's
or whatever,
rocking.
oh my God, it's
Yeah,
incredible.
it's
I mean,
nuts.
I'm almost sad I'm not going to be here on Sunday, but I'm not really that sad because I'm going to be in LA with Hugo. With Hugo. The Dome.
I'll be here in spirit. I'll be there in spirit.
Our first guest ever was, thanks to Kyle, not you, Kyle. Gurvano.
Yeah.
Gurvan Zero, as
Yep.
I call him. Were a couple of the Academy kids. We had Dom on, we had Stefan on, we had Justin Solomon. So we had some awesome kids. And one of the first things we always asked, that's coming over the weekend, was,
No, this one.
yes, that's what we're going to, yes.
Ah, nice. Very critical.
Very critical question. I
It
think
might be
that,
the
yeah.
most important question that we'll have for you guys
Each
today.
one of you have to answer this. Biggie or Tupac?
We agreed to let Paul answer first because we're not sure that he knows
Yes.
who these people are.
The pressure is on, Presidente.
I love it.
Well, for those that don't know,
Wait. So before you answer, just you throw out a name. You got to explain why.
Right.
You
oh,
know.
I've got an explanation.
Okay.
When is ever Paul lacking for words?
Tupac, for those who do not know, was named after Tupac Amaru. Tupac Amaru. Who knows who Tupac Amaru is?
Here he goes.
Huh?
Here he goes.
Yeah.
We only had
Tupac
17
Amaru.
minutes.
Tupac Amaru claimed to be, although we weren't really sure if he was or not, claimed to be a descendant of the last Incan king, who was also named Tupac Amaru.
This is the best answer ever for this question, by the way.
Wow.
For those that don't know, my wife is from Peru. My daughter has Incan blood in her because she's Peruvian. So therefore, Tupac.
That is like the. Do me a favor and don't drop the mic because that's expensive. But yes.
Right. Start a slow clap. Somebody start a slow clap. Right?
Yes, and you guys, you thought that the old white guy from Edom Claw wouldn't have a clue.
We do call him
Google
Grandpa
it?
in the meetings.
Did you Google it?
Did I Google it, or do I know my wife's history and where the people
That
are
is-
from? Come on, what kind of question is that?
Can you name one Tupac song?
One Tupac song? No, I'm not going to know. No, I did not Google it, but Wikipedia is your friend. No, I knew who Tupac was. Yeah, but I no. Tupac versus Biggie, I got nothing. That wasn't my thing.
Okay.
But these two will have a good answer.
Okay,
Not
Okay,
like
you're
that.
You're gonna hang me for this.
that's fine.
Okay, West Coast girl. So I should be saying Tupac,
Yeah, of
but
course.
I'm into hip hop dancing, hip hop club music.
Yeah.
So More Money, More Problems comes on. I'm never changing that. I'm sorry.
So you're Biggie.
I think Tupac is a better lyricist, but Biggie has the rump shaking beat. So
Okay, Kyle.
So Tupac, I think, in his lyrics he had more passion, so I relate to that, but I grew up with Biggie. I mean, I just
Super Nintendo singing Genesis.
It's fine. No, there's no wrong answer here.
okay,
No, right.
Absolutely no
okay.
wrong
well,
answer.
after Paul gave his explanation, I feel like
We're not
Okay,
quite
maybe
as
there
deep.
is. I don't
You
know.
two failed.
I know.
All right, and then what other teams do you follow besides the Sounders? Which is another question that we've always asked the Academy kids. And if you say Arsenal, I might slap you because they all said that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
They all said Arsenal. But again, so what other teams besides the Sounders in the soccer world do you follow?
Soccer world.
Soccer, yeah, or
Okay.
whatever. Or if you want to say football or basketball or whatever, that's fine too.
Well, Seattle girl, Seahawks,
Yeah.
right?
Go
But it's-
Hawks. Seahawks.
Right?
Yes, we've tailgated before. She
That's
knows
right.
how to. She knows how to tailgate.
But as far as soccer teams, I'm waiting for the Philippine national team to get going. So that will be my number one team.
Just keep waiting.
One day. Yeah, we'll get there.
The Italian national team and AC Milan for me.
Okay. Oh, so I'm an Inter Milan fan. I actually went to an Inter Milan versus Juventus game at
did?
San Siro.
No.
Fantastic. Probably it rivals being an ECS. And I was
yeah.
I was in the expensive seats because I didn't want to be with the supporters there as a neutral.
Yeah.
And the curves are crazy.
Oh my.
Yeah, you're either all in or you're.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so I was on the edge, but it rivaled being in that stadium, being at ECS, the best game ever. So
Wow.
Yeah, I've never, never
we
been.
kind of have a little bit of love.
We have a thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
we have a thing.
Kyle?
I lived in Argentina, so I'm big into that league. Godoy Cruz was my hometown's team, and I saw them promoted from second division to first division. One of the best things I've ever been a part of. Everybody in that country, though, even though they have a team like Godoy Cruz, as their team, they have either River or Boca, and I'm definitely on the Boca side.
Okay.
And I did go to Boca games, and I had some pretty amazing experiences. Just happened to sit underneath the away supporter section, and I was undercover, but I was seeing all the stuff bombing down from that section.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts there.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. But Boca, Godoy Cruz, and then in England, I don't really like England teams all that much, just because I spent my time in Argentina. But I did travel with a friend that was from Norwich, and we were traveling around Latin America. And I got back home, and I didn't know it at the time, but he had sent me a Norwich jersey in the mail when he got home. And so I got home to this present, and it was just one of the coolest things ever. So Norwich, and they played Portland, which was, so I got to cheer for Norwich against Portland.
A terrible team playing a terrible team. So that's all good.
It was pretty bad.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Those are my teams.
You know who else is a Norwich supporter? Is Dan Rowe.
Yeah,
on
I
the
know.
council.
And also Byland, Brian Anderson.
Oh, yeah?
Down in Tacoma.
Yeah. Right on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, that's a good club.
I'm looking
Paul?
to.
Well, I don't like getting up early on a weekend, so I don't have a Premiership team. So I never got into following a Premier League team.
Okay,
so
that's fine.
I don't have one there. For those that don't know, I work as an air traffic controller is my gig, and I was going to Germany, and I had some extra time while I was traveling over there. So I asked a Lufthansa pilot who was flying through my airspace. I said, "Hey, I'm a supporter. Do you like football?" And he says, "Yeah, but do you mean football, or what you guys call football?" I no, football. He says, "Oh, yeah. I said, "Well, I'm a supporter. I'm in the supporter culture, and I really dig that. And I want to have a supporter experience while I'm in Germany." He said, "Where? I'm going to be in the south." He says, "Well, you can go to Bayern, but the tickets are too expensive." He says, "You know where you really need to go is you need to go to Nuremberg because those guys are nuts, right? With the fan and supporter experience." So I emailed some people in Nuremberg. I found some message boards, kind of joined. There's not a lot of English language support for supporters there, but they were like totally welcoming. Went to Nuremberg, got in the supporters section for a game. Turned out that my main host is the girlfriend of the capo that runs the whole thing.
Oh my God.
They put me right down front and center, and about 2/3 of the songs, maybe not 2/3, probably half the songs were songs that we do in ECS in English.
Yeah.
So I at least could keep up and kind of
The beat
fake
and
the
rhythm.
words. I took 2 years of German and cheated my way through. And they must have thought I passed the test because they took me back to their secret clubhouse that they have. It's in like this warehouse district. So they have this warehouse where they do their TIFO. They have this big open room. It's about the size of the Berliner here. So they've got tables. They do pancake breakfasts there. Then they've got a little lounge section. They've got like all of the flags of all the stuff that they've stolen from everybody else in the Bundesliga. Right? On the walls and on the ceiling in there. Because I was asking them, I'm like, "Hey, you want me to trade? I'll get you an ECS scarf or something in here." They're like, no, this is all shame because these are all stuff we stole from everybody else. You don't want to be in this. So Nuremberg is my team. Unfortunately, they're in the second. They got relegated last year. They had a really good year the year before, and last year wasn't too good. And so I follow Nuremberg. And a buddy of mine got me into following Rangers. Glasgow Rangers, which there's another snake bit team because they got booted all the way down in Glasgow. Yeah,
Okay.
They got booted. They got relegated. Well, not relegated.
They got relegated because they lost.
Technically, technically what happened was that they went into bankruptcy.
Right.
And when a club folds completely, even though there's a new club called Rangers and everybody thinks of it as the same, but legally it wasn't the same. So they had to start over. So they're playing their way up through Scottish. The Scottish football
They
pyramid.
got downgraded like 2 or 3 leagues, right?
No, they went all the way to the bottom professional
what it was?
league. It was
Okay,
like the
bottom.
4th division.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So those are my teams outside of the United States. And the Nuremberg thing's to a point now where anytime I make a trip to Europe, if it's during soccer season, even if I'm not going to Germany, I got to go and I got to catch a Nuremberg game somewhere.
Fantastic.
So, yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
And My buddy Oberst, he sent me a onesie for my baby, so she's got this German.
That's so cool.
Wow.
That is so cool. The connection
Yeah,
that you make.
yeah, it's cool. And that's the way soccer is. I mean, he and I can barely have a conversation because his English isn't good and my German's worse. But he's my guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's what soccer does for you.
I agree.
It's connection. Yep.
All right, last call for questions in the audience. No question is stupid unless you don't ask it. Or something like that.
Everybody's a winner.
Everybody's a winner.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so okay, so let's go back to our list of questions here because there was a couple things that we didn't hit on. Surprisingly enough, we actually went through a lot. Adam, you have a question?
No, just listening.
Okay, so how does one become a volunteer? Is that to be determined? Do we have anything available now? Whether it's a volunteer at a level of a big volunteer position, a small volunteer position. What's the time frame on that?
Soon.
As
Very
soon as possible.
Yeah. I mean,
We're working on
January?
this. Well, we
Or
want to
before.
roll this out in a way that we can make sure to capture everyone, but at the same time be able to follow up. So it's going to take a little bit of time, as all of these things have, to make sure we're really getting everything laid out perfectly.
Yeah.
That being said, we're happy for people to reach out to us at this point. We've had a lot of conversations with people at booths or
How
people
can we
who have
reach out to
followed
you
of
guys?
us. So if you're following us on Twitter, you can reach out to us there. But we also have a hashtag SC_trust for the trust.
The account? Wait, you mean the account or the hashtag? Or both?
I'm sorry,
It's the account.
the account.
Okay.
At SC_trust.
Okay.
You can reach out to us there. We have a website with more information, but we have an intention of rolling out a full volunteer recruitment campaign.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure we do it right, so it hasn't quite rolled out yet. Same thing with leadership positions that you asked about earlier. That's in the works as well. So right now it's a matter of tap us and let us know you're interested. We'd love to have more conversations, and then we'll have a formal recruitment process down the road.
So we have the Ted Smith listening, it appears.
Oh, right on.
He said you were about to get an unfollow talking about that Team Big. He is Team Big.
Team Biggie. He didn't like Paul's decision to go with Tupac.
Yay! So you can follow me, Ted.
All right. So they can reach out to us, to you guys, and we'll point them in your direction, or go to SC_trust.
Right.
Or the website is SeattleCommunityTrust.org.
That is correct. Yes.
Yep. I haven't been there in like a few weeks, so that's good. Okay, good.
Please, we will eventually roll out something formal to really get that, but don't feel like you have to wait. If you're really itching to let us know that we're interested, we'd love to hear about that and
Great.
have those conversations, so let us know.
I'm sorry, did you say Seattle Community Trust?
I did.
Sounders.
Oh,
Sounders
God, I did.
Community
I'm
Trust. I
sorry.
want to make
Sounders
sure
Community
that.
Trust.
Yeah,
I did.
Okay.
Sounders Community Trust.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't
we
read my own scarf.
I didn't even hear you say that.
Ideally, what we're going to have down the road is a super easy way for people to go onto the website, click on a thing that says volunteer, fill out a form. It'll tie to your trust membership. Although, if you're not a trust member and you still want to volunteer, it's cool. It's a nonprofit organization. We'll take all the help we can get. Probably won't be able to get on the board of directors because obviously board of directors have to have a level of commitment that are members of the organization itself. But pop onto the webpage. We're just, we got to set up all that back end stuff. And again, volunteers, So far, I haven't got paid back for the domain names. I registered those, the website, hosting, that kind of stuff. It's just all sitting there, and we'll get to it. But
Well, I know that,
we're working on it as fast as we can.
Lee mentioned that he wants to be involved. He wants to help.
Yep.
And he's a tech genius.
Yeah.
So
Great.
he
Well,
definitely
then
would
maybe
be
he's our guy.
happy to help.
All
too.
right.
We do
I'm
need
throwing
help
him,
with that.
Lee, they're
putting you
shoving
in the
under the
spot,
bus,
Lee.
man.
Right.
Yeah, because isn't the quality of the show amazing?
I know. Right?
Maybe he's not such a genius either.
Hey, these
I don't know.
microphones are amazing.
All right, so when is the deadline, if it's announced or not announced? Do we know when can I stop being a founder? Because maybe I decide in January to go ahead and give, because I'm going to be 40
You're
in
gonna give it to
January.
me?
No, not you. I'm going to be 40 in January.
You give it to Penny.
Shut up.
That will go a long way
Oh, yeah.
towards your
Oh, yeah.
towards your mirror.
Oh, my God.
Never mind. No.
We're not doing a post show tonight, but
No.
I will tell you after the show. My son met his daughter, or his
No, my
nephew.
niece. My
Niece.
Ladies.
Terrible.
niece.
My son met his niece.
I don't have kids.
And
That
they're
he
both
knows
4.
about.
And my son now is like, I'm going to marry Penny when I get older.
Right
Arranged
on.
marriage.
Yeah.
Those are
When
two
they're
sports
40,
fans right
when
there.
they're 40.
When they're 40. Okay.
First
that's-
date at 35, and then we can
It's
start talking.
so cute. It's
Yeah, it is. It is
awesome.
super cute. It is.
We could do it
But-
at Starfire.
There we go.
That's
Oh.
right.
When they're 35.
When they're 35. Oh, and they're 35.
Now we're moving.
All right, that's
We're
good.
closer.
That's
Well,
good.
that's first date. You know,
They get married on the first date.
no,
With
marriage
Uncle
to 40.
Hugo as the chaperone too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. No question.
He
I'll
actually
be right
is scared
there.
of you, so that's good.
Good. You should be.
All right, so
You should be. When he ever watches this, yeah, you should be.
when is the last opportunity for me to either add one to my account or somebody new out there? Because we already have Lee, which is
Yeah.
the toughest nut to crack.
Oh, I had a
and we
question.
did it.
Yay.
Do we know when it is yet?
Yeah.
We don't have a firm date, but we
No.
know that it probably won't go past opening day of S2.
Okay.
But we will give people, at
Ample
least
warning.
yes, there'll be at least I can guarantee a couple of weeks warning minimum.
Okay.
But probably more like a month.
And the point to make is we're not necessarily up against the mark cutoff for trust memberships, but we're running close to the cutoff on discounted season tickets.
Yes,
Right.
they've sold a lot
So
of
if
tickets.
there's any inkling
So
in you
folks,
that you want a season ticket
get
with your trust
your
membership,
trust
you might want to do
membership
it
so you
sooner
can
than
get
later.
that great deal of $95
For 17 games, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
I think they're
14
aiming for
games.
how many?
14, right?
14.
Oh,
Yeah,
14. I'm sorry, 14 games.
Plus,
Plus
potentially
Open Cup,
playoffs.
plus
up
playoffs
and
if they
down.
make
so
it.
called 14,
Yeah.
but still
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
$95 for 14 games?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good deal. It's a really
That's
good deal.
Starfire.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to be
Yeah, it's a Starfire experience.
those games. I love CenturyLink, but it's a different experience.
Oh,
man.
Starfire.
And I know we don't have specifics, and we talked to Andrew about this, but he's talking to some of the partner bars
Yeah.
of the folks that are in the group.
Yeah.
And
About bus.
I would love to see it happen at this place. Have you ever heard of this place called the Berliner Pub?
Berliner Pub.
It's a small little place.
I hear it's only like
Legendary.
5 minutes
Heard of
away.
that.
It's only 5 minutes away.
Wait here, let me give you a little plug.
Well, then it would be the last. It would be the last stop on the way in. Then. That'd be
But
perfect.
potentially, I mean, but for real, how great would that be? Because
Yeah.
getting into Starfire, we all know this. The fans who've gone there.
Parking
Yeah.
sucks.
Can be terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you could hop on
$15
a bus,
killing me.
Yeah, we talked
Shuttle
about
over.
that.
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
and I
we-
know we're not talking about that here tonight.
But
It's
before I
like
forget
official.
though,
Yeah.
No, but
I
I'll tell
have
you
a
what,
question.
fans should know that that's one of the great things about us being able to be involved and have a
Yeah.
foot in the door.
Yeah.
you know
is-
how it sucks.
Yeah,
Parking.
I know how it stinks. So I'm in there, and I said to Andrew the other day, I said, "Hey, have you given some thought to how the buses that you're going to try to run from the partner bars are going to get in and out?" He says, "No, why?" I said, "Well, Starfire stinks so bad as you're trying to get out of there, for the games, trying to get in and out." I said, "It'd be awesome if those buses have like either a close drop-off point, like maybe in that traffic circle,
Yep.
or they can just zoom in and zoom out, and maybe you hold the traffic." So that the
Or go-
buses become an
yeah.
awesome
Or
deal.
just a little bit
right?
deeper. That circle. Go a little bit forward into that parking area and drop
that's-
people off there. and
Right,
then
right.
come
But
back.
the bigger point is rather than try to figure out the exact details, that we're in this space and telling them, look, as a fan, this is what my fan experience is. When you're the general manager, that dude's probably going to be living at Starfire. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
he's going to have a towel in his office
Pretty
so he can hit
much.
the showers there all the time because he's that into it. So he doesn't live it as a fan, and that's not a knock on him. That's actually shows his dedication.
Right.
And that's a great thing about the Alliance Council for the club as a whole, and that's a great thing about the community trust is we're going to be owners. We can tell them, look, you got to get these things right.
Let me get a quick question out before I forget.
Sure.
So, someone already answered it, but I just like to keep asking. So do I have to pay the $250 every year, or the $125 every year?
No,
it's a
lifetime.
lifetime.
deal.
One-time investment.
So that $125 or $250 that's going to be now for
Right.
$250. That's one time, and that's good for
Forever.
Right.
aside from annual maybe operating costs.
Yeah,
with,
$5, $10, $20 bucks.
Yeah.
We're going to try to keep that as low as possible.
Yeah.
But I only have to put in $250 one time.
Right.
Just one time. One time. That's it.
Now we may, if not speaking out of turn, decide that we want to do another fundraiser of
Sure.
some sort
Down the road.
to do something different or to add something, and that might be a secondary call of some sort. To
Yeah,
bring
maybe,
money into the environment.
maybe all the
Great.
people that wanted to get in now, but they couldn't for whatever reason, circumstances,
Yeah.
But it doesn't knock out the people that already
No.
donated, and
Right.
that's
Still the
that's
first-
The
Still part of the
Founders Club
Founders
members
is.
are going to be a very limited group, as in there's
Founders
no
Club
limit.
members.
There's
Yeah.
no limit,
Yes.
right? Is that
Right.
correct?
Yeah, there's no limit on Founders Club memberships.
There's a limit on the date at which you can become a Founders Club member.
Right.
Right.
But there's no limit to. So we could have a
How
million
many?
people.
Yes.
The entire reach of SonarFeed, 1 million people.
Right. That's our goal.
A million people.
1
million
million.
listeners.
But yeah, if we all had that many listeners, that'd be awesome. But 1,000,001, yeah. But in theory, there could be a new group that comes in
Sure.
down the road.
Sure.
sure.
We just don't know what that was. We don't know what that looks like today.
Right, and
Yep.
we can't guarantee that down the road a new board of directors doesn't change things. But right now, the intention of this board of directors is Founders Club people always get the first dibs and the best
Yeah.
benefits of everything.
So that's
because
Or
it's
the-
important
or
to be
the-
the
or
first.
that the
Congratulations,
members-
Lee.
This is very important. Or that the members want to change. The
Right,
organization.
absolutely.
This is
Absolutely.
ours. It's not It's not ours. It's the trust itself, the members of the trust.
It is ours because we're all members.
And how it's you, it's all of us. I mean, and that's what we're doing this for. And as far as what we're here for is to promote access for the community, and we're here to promote involvement and empowerment of the community and development. I mean, this is our trust in whatever that community thinks is best. That's what we do.
Yep. Right. Yep. So it's not just about the 3 Trusketeers.
No. 5.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I like that
name. Me too. I had to say that once.
You can keep saying it.
But it is. Let me make one other point here also. Let us remind ourselves that we're in a position where we buy into this, we're able to participate, but that means we also have a responsibility to represent all the other people who we represent. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Bada and for the community that built me up. Equally, as founding club members, we have a responsibility to be the voice for the other people. So the trust is all about accessibility and influence in the club, and I think each of us now have a responsibility to carry that forward so that we all have a part in the bigger message.
Right, and that's the reason why you're here tonight, in my mind, is that I wanted to drive this forward to make sure we could do it sooner than later without Lee, which is both good and bad. But
he's a member now.
But he is. But it's important to do this, to spread the knowledge, to make sure people understand it. Because a lot of us, blind faith, went in, and now we have a lot more information than we ever had before. And this is just step 1. And you guys are talking to a lot of people, so I'm not saying that this tonight was the end-all be-all, but this is another good step in that process of educating hopefully tens of people or 20s of people, right? Or hundreds maybe, if everything goes well, to knowledge out there that people have not been able to go to certain events.
Sure.
Because we have fans here that are ECS or Gorilla or Eastside or whatever, or non-affiliated supporter group folks who just joined the community.
People that are just on Twitter all the time that are not able to come out from all
It's important that people understand that this is not a supporter group. Okay, so for people that are in supporter groups, they're like, why are you guys trying to be? No, we're not trying to be a supporter group. No, and that's not what we are. We are a community trust. We're a community organization for everybody in the community, whether you're a supporter or not. If you love soccer and you love the Sounders, this is for you. This is a way for you to own part of your team.
It's a Sounders community, and I saw somebody purchase from Florida the other day, and
absolutely.
I mean, it's just we have people everywhere, and they're a part of the community too. This is for us. It's just such a beautiful thing.
So such a huge
last question as we go into the end here. We're done. We're wrapping up. As a supporter trust, original trust founder,
Founders Club member.
You too?
I get more than Lee because I joined first, right? No, I'm just kidding.
One member, one vote.
I'm just kidding. But what if I join? The people that are on the fence right now. I spend my $250.
Right.
Yeah.
What benefit do I get? I'm not talking about money, monetary, whatever. Do we know what that is yet? Do we know? Is it a scarf? Is it a?
Yeah, on the Sounders website, they have a comprehensive listing of the package of what it is.
On SoundersCommunityTrust.org, there's also a full listing.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
Angelica did a lot of work on that website, so you should definitely check it out. SoundersCommunityTrust.org.
Yeah.
I think .com and .net point to it, so if you get it wrong, you'll hopefully be able to find your way to it. But we're going to design a Founders scarf, and the Founders scarf will be the Founders scarf. If you're the Founders Club, you're going to get the one, and the only way to be able to get that is either by finding a founder and talking to them and giving it to you, or by being a Founders Club member yourself.
Right.
Oh, so we get a scarf with our $200?
Yeah, we're going to do that. I know, $250 for a scarf.
And a scarf.
And a scarf.
It's going to be a really good scarf.
And a scarf.
It's kind of like that Starbucks new thing they've got, that $200 card.
There's more than the scarf.
There's more than scarf.
A numbered certificate, the discounted season ticket.
Right.
To me,
the
that's a
option
bonus. The
for
scarf, all that
a
is
seat
a bonus.
back, the option for discounted parking, family benefits, legacy benefits.
Discounted parking?
Yes.
Is that all season long?
An option for discount.
Season pass.
An option for.
For.
Well, you still got to pay for it.
Right.
But can you do it like on a game-by-game basis, not the whole season?
No, I think it's going to be a whole season. Family benefits, legacy benefits. I mean, how much time do you have? We have a few
there's a lot
benefits
of
to talk
player
about.
meet and greets. If you have kids, nieces, nephews, you know how you have the kids that walk out on the field with the players.
Yeah,
those are your
all
kids.
that stuff's going to run through the trust.
Can you guarantee that when our kids marry, or our kids, his niece and my son marry, that the Sounders will be part of the wedding?
Harold, you see me shaking the head. Okay? My brother might later see this and he'd be like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you matchmaking with my kid up?" No.
As fans, we have a lot more influence to make that happen now.
Yes. No, okay. All right,
I think also Andrew said they're going to try to find a way to memorialize it on the building, probably on a big plaque.
Good.
Because the engraved bricks get pretty pricey. It's kind of silly.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Nice.
a whole bunch of stuff.
Good.
Well, we have some drinks coming, just so you guys know.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll join us for one more drink. We're gonna shut down the show.
Okay.
We're going to we've had requests from Kyle to do karaoke.
Yes, please.
So maybe real quick we'll do a karaoke if you guys are out for it. If not,
We're gonna do some Biggie.
We'll talk offline. But
I think Paul wants to do Tupac here.
I'm pretty sure.
we have kind of a tradition of doing Rich Girl now.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll figure it out. But again, I can't thank you all enough. We're at the almost 2 hour mark. Not quite 2 hour mark. But an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes.
I didn't even notice the time.
No, it
That's
goes real
how it goes,
fast.
dude.
Yeah.
But it's more important to thank all the people that watch because
Yep.
we wouldn't do it without them, and that's why we're here.
Right.
Right.
And we had a great viewership. We had a lot of great questions. And hopefully when we post this, Adam's here. He's going to help post it. Hopefully in
Thank
24
you,
hours or so.
Adam.
We'll get this up. Yeah. So
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
any questions you guys have, post this. This is hopefully only the first of many times we'll have you back.
Awesome.
We told Andrew that we want to be involved in any kind of thing that we can do to help drive things forward.
Great.
I had a conversation with Sean Wheeler the other day about maybe doing our show live from some of the games.
Yeah, we'll definitely
It would
do
be
segments
fantastic.
of-
Before
Yeah.
draw people in, etc. Whatever we can do, we're in for this. I mean,
SonarFeed is in. Especially
it's-
now that Lee's officially a member. Yeah!
mission accomplished. So anyway, so thank
The
you,
GM's going to be so happy. That was amazing.
Kyle, Angelica, Paul. I mean,
Yes, thank you guys.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for having
me.
us.
Muchas gracias.
Appreciate it.
Muchas gracias a ustedes.
and we'll see you guys on the other side.
Yeah.
Good night.
Washed, you get sterilized, you get nothing. Good day, you lose. Wrong, sir, wrong. I said wrong, sir, wrong. You get wrong, sir, wrong. I said wrong, sir, wrong. You lose. Black and white, all there. Black and white, all there. Black and white, all there. Clear as crystal. You lose. Good day, nothing. You lose. Get good day, nothing. You lose. Get good day, nothing. You lose. Get good day, nothing. You get nothing. You get nothing. You get nothing. You get nothing. Clear as crystal. Lose. Black and white, all there. Black and white, all there. Black and white, all there. Clear as crystal. You lose. Fax mentis incendium gloria culpa memo bis punitor della etc.